This is Paul Moody, and you're listening to Fulham Focus Podcast.
Fulham.
Hello and welcome to the Fulham Focus Podcast. Captain Jmac here as I host from my private yacht in the Caribbean with a bottle of Kraken rum to my left and a lobster brioche bun to my right. As we say a very sad farewell to one of our greatest managers, Savisa, thank you, we look on to a new dawn. The Ranieri Renaissance has begun. But what will it bring? What can we expect? We know he wants us to defend like pirates and will provide McDonalds for clean sheets, but what finer details can we expect from the man who made miracles happen for Leicester City? I have Domm and Rhys with me, two perfect buccaneers for this type of analysis. But first, thanks a bunch to Paul Moody for opening the show. Paul made 40 appearances for the Whites, scoring 19 goals. Despite being injured for most of the 98-99 promotion under Keegan, he returned for the last game of the season in style, becoming the only player in Fulham's history to score a hat-trick as a sub. A hat-trick which sealed a century of points for the club. Paul Moody, we salute you. Domm and Rhys are with me. Let's tuck in. Gar.
Fulham.
And welcome back. You know what, Ranieri shouldn't have said the Pirates thing. I get far too excited about stuff like that. And, you know, your shit is going to be very interesting on Saturday. Anyway, the Ranieri Renaissance. Right, gents, we had a lovely send-off for Savisa in our emergency pod and didn't want to get too into Ranieri stuff out of respect to the big men. So first things first, Matt Dilly Domm, how are you, and what did you make of this appointment, sir?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks, mate. Good to be here. Well, I mean, after the initial kind of surprise of I didn't realise Slav had gone, it was kind of we've got a chance of staying up now. I think I'd sort of lost hope as much as I'm a Slav fan. It kind of felt like, well, we're going down now, so should we just stick with him and let him bring us back up? The board disagreed. And if more than anything, we need to stop conceding goals. And I think Claudio is the best of the contenders. So I'm cautiously optimistic about our chances now.
Yeah, me too, mate. And Rhys, so it's finally happened, mate. But we spoke privately, and you said it's not in the way that you hoped or expected. I remember you saying. So, what are your thoughts on this appointment, sir?
Well, first off, I'd like to take issue with you not having a bottle of Captain Morgan rum by your side.
I know, I missed a good pun there as well. That's a shame.
Exactly, but anyway, you know, it's still what are we? We're sort of a week on from the sacking, the replacement more than anything else, and it's the initial shock of it has sort of gone away. It's now taking time to. Okay, that bit's over. Now let's work out, you know, what's going forward. Let's ignore what the past is. Let's see what the future holds, and that's more or less what this podcast is going to be about. Sort of start of a new era, start of a new dawn. Let's see exactly how things start to shape up.
Excellent. And so I mean, let's just talk about Ranieri's history with formations. Mr. Domm, what would you say is the preferred style that he likes to go for? Because of course with Leicester it was 4-4-2 and it was fantastic and very effective, but I'm hearing rumours of 4-2-3-1 as well that he's very, very good at. What are your thoughts, mate?
Well, I mean, the 4-4-2 at Leicester, and I think he played that formation at Nantes as well. So it's kind of his go-to, if you like, but I think he'll go with what suits the team, and as far as I'm concerned, 4-4-2 doesn't suit the players that we've got. But if we stick to our 4-2-3-1 that we play, I think he might be able to get something out of them. So even though, you know, historically he has played the 4-4-2 quite a lot and been successful with it, I think there's enough in our current players to play with the two defensive midfielders and get a similar effect from that he had at Leicester. I think the problem with at Leicester, we had Jamie Vardy running around like a madman up front. We don't really have that kind of player. We've got Mitrovic. We need to kind of play to his strengths, which I think is two players wide up close to him.
All right, very good. And Mr. Rhys, so Mr. Domm was saying 4-4-2 doesn't suit us. And I mean, we do actually lack sort of natural widemen. Our widemen actually are sort of inverted. So we have, you know, Sessegnon and Schürrle like to cut in. We don't really have that sort of. Basically, what I'm asking you is, we don't have the actual capacity for a 4-4-2, do we?
No, we don't. And I think what we're going to see more of is, and this is what I wrote about in my article, which everyone can go back and look at. I think you talk about wide men and sort of being inverted. I think the key thing to this is we're going to try and recreate, or going to have to try and recreate what Riyad Mahrez was doing, because he was the main creator of that side. He was the main, everything sort of went through him. And if you look at how he played, he was a left footer. That's a cross between a number 10 and a right winger. Now, when you think about that, I think, and this has sort of been it's had a bit of controversy in the Fulham Focus team chat WhatsApp group. I think Tom Cairney's going to play on the right wing, personally, because that's what I think we're going to try and recreate. That's the key focal point. You can go back to the defence. I think it's going to be Mawson and Chambers back there, two physical centre back. Because we're basically going to try and recreate as best the Leicester team, not the 4-4-2 title winning team, but that 4-2-3-1 team that had somewhat success, but because the Champions League had other minds elsewhere, struggled in the Premier League, but eventually got around under, I forget, it was Craig Shakespeare at the end who sort of finished the job off. So if you look at the midfield two of that 4-2-3-1, it's going to be McDonald and Siri. Siri's going to be playing the sort of N'Golo Kante role, the sort of running around everywhere, because I think he's got the energy to do it. And then Kevin McDonald's all playing the Danny Drinkwater role, which is a central midfielder, but with the ability and the freedom to go forward, when he sees fit. But, I was having this discussion with Danny, our boss, and he said, why would you not have Anguissa there? And I said, Anguissa probably offers us, McDonald offers us more defensive strength and also is the better leader. And I think we're going to touch on this soon, but I'll touch on it now. I think McDonald's going to get the captain's armband, personally.
Very good, very good. And that would be very interesting to see. What do you think on that, Dom, mate? Do you think that Kenny's days are numbered as captain and it's going to pass on to McDonald?
I don't think he's going to change captain midway through a season. Okay. It's a risky one because we already know there's a bit of a divide. Slav kind of struggled to bridge the new players and the old players. He wanted to keep his faith in the old team, and the new guys sort of came in, and the old players got a bit upset that they're being replaced. So whatever happened, Ranieri's job is to unite this team, and I don't think he's going to do that by changing the captain midway through the season. Long term, I think as well, Mawson is sort of ready-made to be captain. I think we need to stay up, otherwise we're gonna lose him at the end of the season. Mawson's gonna make a comeback under Ranieri. I think he's just his type of defender. And I was kind of thinking as well, I might throw this one back at you. Quite a lot of the time when new managers come in, they make a statement in terms of whether they drop a player or someone who's seen as a regular in that team. I think it might be a Doy, and I think even Tom Cairney's got a chance of being dropped from the team because I don't know where he fits in with this style. Maybe he plays behind Mitrovic, but he's not quick, mobile enough to play that role. I think alongside Mitrovic, we need someone who runs. Maybe that's Vieto, but I think Kenny might be in a bit of trouble. We've been looking at him, so when he comes back, when he's fit, he's going to change us, and we look a lot better when he's in the team. But he could be in a bit of trouble because I don't see where he fits. What do you guys think?
Well, this goes to my point. I think he fits on the right wing, personally. And like I said, this isn't where I want Tom Cairney to play. I think he's more effective as a number 10. But if we are to sort of believe that he's going to try and recreate as best what he did at Leicester, then that's the only really natural fit. Because I can't exactly see Schürrle playing as a sort of wide playmaker. I can't see Vieto doing that role as well. I can't see Sessegnon doing that. I can see Sessegnon maybe playing on the left wing, but that right-hand side, Riyad Mahrez position, I think it's only for Tom Cairney.
Interesting. And, Dom was just saying, talking of comebacks for certain players. And, I mean, there are certain players that I think that were in the dark that are going to be shone a light on with Ranieri. And you say we don't have any sort of players on the left side at the moment. I mean, do you think anyone, help me here, that Cabano could make a comeback here, or Ayite? Although I think Cabanos?
I personally think Aite would be the first man up. Personally,
Okay.
if you want to go back to who's going to be the left wing, I again personally think it will be. I think it'll be Sessegnon. But of the two, I think I think it'd be more likely to be Aite because Cabano sort of flagged off the past couple of months, whereas Aite sort of been that touch further ahead of him on the depth chart. So if it's going to be one, I think it's going to be Aite personally.
Okay. And Mr. Domm, so Rhys was saying that he thinks that, Seri could be our Kante. Where do you stand on that? Do you think Seri has the sort of the vision, the energy, and obviously the passing range that Kante had for his time at Leicester?
I sort of see Rhys was kind of saying it's McDonald or Anguissa. I'm not quite sure I see it like that. I think
Okay.
we need a kind of a clogger, if you like, which is a McDonald or perhaps even Chambers if he plays like he did against Liverpool. And I think alongside that player, there needs to be a runner, a hard worker. And I see more of that from Anguissa than I do from Seri. Fair enough, Seri's got a better passing range, but Anguissa, I think the problem he's had settling in is because I don't think he's used to the patient, probing possession football that we play, or we did play under Slav. And I think under Ranieri, where he's sort of being asked to run, to track back, to win the ball, and maybe get rid of it or find a creative player, I think he could really excel there, alongside someone like McDonald, who's much more sort of sits in the hole and just tries to get in the way, if you like. So I think Anguissa might have a big role.
All right. And I want to go on to Mitrovic now. Mitrovic recently, beg your pardon, Claudio Ranieri said in an interview this week, or last week rather, that he wants to find a partner for Mitrovic. And I don't know within the existing squad or in the January transfer window, but what does that tell you? Does that tell you, Rhys, that we probably are looking at a 4-4-2 by that statement that Ranieri said?
Yes, and whether or not he finds it immediately or if he's going to have to sort of make do with someone until January comes along. But it's something we discussed very, very briefly last year. If he can develop his finishing, I can see Ryan Sessegnon playing, the big man, little man combination up with Mitrovic, as much as it would normally have a three up front. But I think there's potential for him to play as a striker. He just needs to sort his finishing out.
I personally agree with you. I think their relationship, that their understanding with each other from last season was immense, and I believe that if you had Sessegnon up top with Mitrovic, with a natural left winger and a natural right winger, it could potentially work. So, Mr. Domm, I'm going to ask you next. Claudio has said that performances don't matter, only results. He would rather the team play badly and win than play vice versa. What are your thoughts on that? We're in a very different territory now with a different style. I mean, how do you feel about it? Do you agree that performances don't matter, only results?
I think if you'd asked me that 2 months ago, I would have said, don't be silly. Performances matter. I want to be entertained. Towards the end of Slav's time, when we're seeing 4, 5, 3, 2 goals go in every game, you kind of get bored of. You try and make a claim that at least we play entertaining football, but there was nothing entertaining about losing heavily every week. So I fundamentally disagree that it's all about the performances, but I can see a need for it now because otherwise, we're down and it'll be a struggle for us to come back up. So I always think if performances are there, then results will follow. But performance doesn't necessarily have to mean pretty football. If the team is playing as a unit, they're defending properly, they're creating enough chances, then results should follow that as well. As long as there's a plan, that's what I want to see, a plan.
Absolutely. And Mr. Rhys, Claudio has said that, he's said some funny things already. He said, the Pirates comment. He's talked about, McDonald's and things like that. And he's all very chirping. He's bringing a very nice, sort of very light-hearted quality to the media and obviously, hopefully, to the team at the moment in training. But do you think, I'd like to know about his personality and what you think. Do you think Claudio Ranieri is as cuddly as he seems, or is there actually a very disciplined, don't mess with me manager underneath all that?
I'll take your point about discipline because he's again one of his things in the press conference said, he's Italian. The first thing we need to, the most important thing for us is a clean sheet. So I think there'll be a certain amount of discipline in there in terms of on the training ground trying to drill things into place in order to get them to defend better. But overall, there's two different kinds of managers. Slavisa Kanovic doesn't exactly look like the kind of person that enjoys a joke just because of his demeanor and the way he comes across. Whereas Claudio Ranieri clearly is clearly a little bit more upbeat, a little bit more positive. Whether or not that's going to have an effect on the players, we hope that it will. But I just think it's going to be a bit of a huge shock to the system of everything because there's still going to be some levels of discipline left over from the Jokanovic days, but it's just going to be just a little bit more easier. Maybe that's just going to relax the players a bit more, and they're not going to be so worried and so tense on the pitch. Is going to be able to let them loosen up and play a bit more freely.
Yeah, exactly. And Mr. Domm, it was announced also that Claudio will have the same input on transfers as Slavisa had. I mean, could this mean good January dealings? I mean, do you have any ideas of who do you think he might bring in? I mean, it can only be positive that, someone of his pedigree winning the Premier League, for God's sake, that could be in control for a January transfer window in our situation.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's difficult to know who he might be targeting, but I think the type of player we're going to be looking at is a Ranieri style centre back. I know Chris Smalling's been linked, and I would be okay with that because he's not the best footballer. That's why he doesn't fit into Gareth Southgate's setup. But he's a big bloke, and if there's anything we're lacking, it's height at centre back. I also think we'll be looking for probably a right winger. As Rhys said, he can see Tom Cairney playing there, but in the past, the making of Tom Cairney was him moving into the middle, and I don't think putting him back wide is going to be right for us. So I think a right winger as well. Who that is, I don't exactly know. But
if you think we're looking for height at centre back, does that mean we're going to get Dan Burn back?
He's already going to Brighton.
I was going to say, I wonder how his loan with Wigan works. In regards to sort of other January transfer window, I don't want to talk rather specifically about any certain players we want to talk about, but how we've said that Ranieri is going to be getting money to spend. How much money is he going to be given to spend? Because we've already laid out 100 million, or maybe more, in the summer. How much do we have left? Unless this is purely pocket change from Shahid Khan, 600 million left over from the Wembley non-buy. Surely can't be Man City levels of rich and be able to buy whoever we want.
Do we think maybe he's going to be looking to get rid of some of the bigger signings? I'm thinking here, Seri. He hasn't.
Do you think he'd be able to get away with that though? Do you think because he'll want to put his stamp on the side of car? He'll want to put a stamp on the side. Right, this is my side. But surely getting rid of Seri £15 million after 6 months. Surely there's some sort of limit.
Well, yeah, of course. That's the only way I can really see us spending a lot more money or more money will be if we sell some of the players we've already got. Maybe Tom Cairney, if he doesn't fit, maybe there's a 20 million bid for him again hanging around somewhere. I certainly wouldn't see that as a big surprise, as much as I don't want it to happen. The fact is, there's players in our squad who don't really fit the way he wants to play. There's players who perhaps don't come under the umbrella of the hard workers, like he said he's going to play. So maybe there's room there. Maybe Khan will say to him, if you want money to spend, you have to let us know who you don't want, and we'll bring in replacements. But personally, I don't see the point of making wholesale changes again, because then we're back to where we started at the beginning of the season, aren't we?
Yeah, exactly. It's not going to be, and you say wholesale changes. We're not going to be buying another 6 players, for instance, to go straight into the first team. You're probably looking at maybe 1 or 2. We may need to sort of rejig loans around. You talked about Chris Smalling. Maybe we just call Arsenal and say, right, let's cut the loan short and then get Chris Smalling in on loan. Maybe sort of rejig things like that. Who else are our loan players? Schürrle, I can't see going back to Dortmund.
He's on 2-year loan anyway, isn't he?
Yeah, so maybe. So Sergio Rico looks as if he's going to stay, so that loan stays as it is.
Vietto's the other one.
Vieta, that's a good shout. If we want to get in a proper right winger, maybe get rid of him and find someone else. I think personally it's too early to be talking about specific targets because it's still only November.
Of course,
it's like Christmas. This should wait until the 1st of December. Personally, just wait a little while.
No, absolutely. And the last question I'll ask to you both before we move on to the quiz is, Shahid Khan described this appointment as risk-free, and I'm gonna just both ask you: is this risk-free? And how likely is it now that we could possibly stay up? I mean, we don't have a crystal ball here, chaps, but, Baldwin, I'll go to you. What are your thoughts on our chances for survival now after all this?
I'd say our chances of survival have increased because we said, Slavisa's style of play wasn't going to keep us up. He'd have to change it. Well, by default, we're now going to have a different style of play. So our chances of survival have increased. And when you say risk-free, I think it's, this isn't... This is a manager that we can trust. This isn't taking a flyer on when we did with Rene Mullenstein or when we did with Kit Simons, for instance. Kit Simmons, I'll always get confused with that. We're not. This is a safe bet sort of thing. Now, horror of horrors, if we'd have appointed Sam Allardyce, that would have been risk-free because we knew that we were getting someone who could do it. With Ranieri, we know we're getting someone who can do it. It's not a case of this guy may be able to do it. This guy we think we can. So no, I don't think it's risk-free at all. Plus, the only way is up because we're at the bottom. So if he moves us to 19th, then it's an improvement.
Yeah, and Mr. Domm, what are your thoughts? I mean, you've already said that you think our chances have gone up, but I mean, can you be a bit more specific with that? I mean, do you have any idea of who else could get sucked in and where else we could possibly start strengthening with this new manager?
Well, I just kind of want to quickly mention I seem to recall Felix Magath was seen as risk-free. I don't think those words were used, but a manager who had never been relegated before. So that's the reason he was brought in. So the risk-free wording is a bit of a funny one. I mean, I think if we come 17th, then job done. At the moment, even though our chances have improved, I think everyone's going to be looking at us as the team most likely to go down. If we beat Southampton, we really need to beat Southampton, but them, Cardiff, Huddersfield are pretty much. I think I can see that as being the bottom four, to be honest. So I think we need to beat both of those other teams at home and beat Southampton because we need to keep those below us and as soon as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll start talking about Saints very shortly. But, well, for now, we'll do the quiz after this.
Fulham.
And welcome back to the Fulham Focus podcast. Now it is time for Quizness time. And it was obviously Matt Baldwin and Matt Domm are going head-to-head. They can reach a point total of 17 points each. But if you're playing at home, you can reach a point total of 26 points. Excellent. So, round one, Southampton versus Fulham. All right, so this question goes out to both of you. Question one. After scoring the opening goal against Southampton on Boxing Day 2012, Berbatov celebrated by revealing a message on his vest that said, "Keep calm and pass me the ball." But what was the final score that day? And the clue is, it wasn't 0-0. So, Mr. Rhys, I'll go to you first. What is your prediction of the score that day, sir?
Was it 2-1 to Southampton?
2-1 to Southampton. And Mr. Domm?
That's tough. I want to go 2-1 to Fulham.
Oh, okay. 2-1 to Fulham. I'm going to level you both out. The correct answer is 1-1. It was 1-1. Ricky Lambert scored a late equaliser the last minute, so it was 1-1. No points for Ibu there. Sorry, chaps. All right, question two. Who has scored more goals for their club so far? Is it Charlie Austin or Alexander Mitrovic? And I'll go to you, Mr. Rhys.
Their club, so that's in the whole tenure at the club, not just this season.
Yes, the whole tenure at the club. So their entire time at Southampton, their entire time at Fulham.
I'm going to go... Mitrovic. Go to Mitrovic.
Okay, you're going for Mitrovic. And for you, Mr. Domm?
So So Mitrovic will be 16, right? Austin, he's been there quite a bit. I'm going with Charlie Austin.
You are correct. The answer is Charlie Austin. Charlie Austin has scored 18 goals for the Saints, and Alexander Mitrovic, according to this, has scored 17 goals now for us. So 18-17, it's that close, unfortunately. Sorry, Mr. Rhys. So that is a point for Dom and a 0 to the Baldwin. Now, question 3. The transfer price is right. How much did Fulham pay Southampton for Chris Baird in 2008? That's how much did Fulham pay Southampton for Chris Baird in 2008? Your guess, Mr. Rhys.
1.7 million.
I just think of Dr. Evil when you just said that. Okay. So that's brilliant. And yeah, okay, what did you say?
1.7 million.
Okay, 1.7 million. And for you, Mr. Dom, what is your guess?
$2 million.
$2 million.
Okay. Pounds.
It's pounds.
I think I've vastly undervalued him because didn't he win Championship Player of the Year the year before? I think I've vastly got this wrong.
Well, the correct answer is £3.25 million. So, Dom, you were the closest one with 2 million. So you get a point there, my friend. So that is
bloody hell, I did
2-0.
estimate it.
All right, that's the end of that round. The next round is called the Lefties. And now you all have a set of questions here. So I will go to you, Mr. Rhys, to give you the advantage because you're losing. Which set of questions would you like? Would you like set 1 or set 2?
Set number 2, please.
Okay, set 2. Question 1. Who is Mummy Boy's sibling?
Bjorn Helge Riise.
That is absolutely correct. It is Bjorn Helge Riise. In 2001, Fulham were very close to signing left-back John Arne Riise, but his agent, who also happened to be his mum, advised that Liverpool would be a better move for his career. Cue the chant of Mummy's Boy whenever he played against him. Unfortunately, his mum didn't stick her nose in the second time around, and we did eventually sign him in 2011 when he was slow, old, and bloody awful. So there you go. Well done, mate. You got a point for that. So, second question for you, Mr. Rhys, in this round. Old MacDonald used his bum to score the opening goal in a 2-0 win the last time we played Leeds United at the Cottage in April 2018. But my question is, which cheek did he score with? Can you crack the answer?
Bloody hell, he wrote this.
Annie boy.
I must... You're expecting me to have spent time analysing Kevin McDonald's backside, which is
it's just a guess.
I'll take the right cheek.
Right cheek. The right cheek. That is absolutely correct. It was the right cheek. Congratulations. Congratulations, mate. It was the right cheek. Okay, now, question 3 for you, Mr. Reed. During the post-match celebrations at Wembley in May, Marcus Bettinelli was filmed running behind the goal holding a flare. Which hand did he throw the flare up with? Which hand was he holding the flare, basically?
I think he ran with his right. He threw it with his right. He's right-handed, so I'm guessing that. I'm going with the right.
It is absolutely correct. It was his right hand. So you have got 3 out of 3 so far. Very good, mate. Very good indeed. Question 4, final question for you in this round for set 2. Which of these lefties scored the most goals for Fulham? Was it A, Sonny Aluko, B, Facundo Sava, or C, Alexander Kakanikovic?
Who was the middle one? So it was Sava.
Sava, yeah.
Sava, Kakanikovic. Who's the? Oh, Aluko. Crikey. I'm going to go for Kundu Sava.
Kundu Sava. Facundo Sava scored 7 goals. And unfortunately, that is not the right answer because Alexander Kakanikovic scored 11 goals. So unfortunately, you did not get 4 out of 4. I
can't remember any of them. How the hell did he get 11? He barely played.
I don't know. It's just in front of me. I think this is the right. Yeah. No, it says 11. It must be 11. It is 11. So never mind. Unfortunately, you're still doing well, mate. You're still doing well. Now, going to set 1 questions for Mr. Dom. So here we go.
Can I have set 2?
It's too late, mate. All right, set one. Question one, true or false, Mr. Domm? Tom Cairney has scored 27 goals for Fulham, but none of them have been with his right foot. Is that true or false?
I can't remember any, but surely false.
It is indeed false, yes. He scored one with his right foot in the penalty area at the Putney end. That's exactly it. And the other 26 goals were 5 headers, all inside the penalty area, 20 with his left foot, 8 from outside the penalty area, 10 from inside the penalty area, and only 1 in the 6-yard box. Legend. All right, very good. And question 2. The Michael Jackson statue has his famous one glove on one hand and a microphone in the other. What's on the left hand? Glove or mic?
Oh, man, what a question.
Gar.
Glove left.
Unfortunately, the mic is in his left hand. I'm sorry, mate. I'm really sorry. Okay, question 3. True or false again? Zoltan Gira scored the famous Hamburg semi-final winning goal with his left foot. Is that true or false?
So he flicked it round. I think it was all right-footed, so false.
The answer is true. He controlled it with his right foot on the turn and finished it with his left. I'm sorry, mate. All right, last question.
With his left as well, if I'm thinking.
Say that again?
I think Simon Davis scored with his left as well.
Yeah, he definitely did, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Sorry, but fun bonus fact there for anyone who can.
No, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's no good if I couldn't get it right, though, is it?
Yeah, sorry, mate. It just dampens it. All right, so question 4. Last one, mate. All right, here we go. Which of these former Fulham lefties played the most games for the club? Which of these former Fulham lefties played the most games for the club? Was it A, Matty Targett, B, Pierre Wome, C, Nicholas Jensen, or D, Ben Pringle?
Oh, that's tough.
They're all very close as well.
Not Pringle, not Wemo. Who are the other two?
Matty Targett or Nicholas Jensen?
Oh, maybe it is one of the other two. I'm going to go with Jensen.
The correct answer, unfortunately, is Matt Targett. I'm sorry, mate.
Really?
Unlucky. Wow. Yeah, Matt Targett had 21 appearances. Wome had 19 appearances. Jensen had 18 appearances. And Ben Pringle also had 18 appearances. So it was very, very close. All right, that's it for that round. So far, guys, it's 3-3. It's bloody close. All right, 3-3. Okay, round 3. Back and forth. You both have 5 guesses each. So here we go. They ain't no saints. Name the last 10 players to be sent off for Fulham. They ain't no saints. Name the last 10 players to be sent off for Fulham. And I'll go to you first, Mr. Rhys, and I'll give you about 10 seconds. Fast 10 seconds to get one. So it's all back and forth.
Adore in the playoff final.
Adore in the playoff final, that is absolutely correct. And you, Mr. Domm?
McDonald the other day.
Exactly, McDonald the other day. Mr. Rhys, back to you.
What am I getting for you? Johansson would have got it red at some stage.
That is incorrect, unfortunately. Johansson is not on the list. Now back to you, Mr. Domm.
It's hard to know how far back to go. Amora Bieta.
Amora Bieta? Call him Amora Bieta? That is correct. He got sent off in the 94th minute against Leeds in a 1-1 draw in February 2016. He got 2 bookings, and the second booking was in the 94th minute. So well done to you, sir. That's 2 points. Rhys, back to you.
If we're going that far back, Bettinelli against Watford.
Bettinelli against Watford. He's not on the list.
Oh,
that's good. He was my next one.
Back to you, Mr. Domm.
I'm going to go with Ryan Tunnicliffe, because surely.
No better reason.
Well, surely not. He's not on the list.
No.
All right. So that is... All right, now to you, Mr. Rhys.
Oh, why do I get the finger on the wingers? Floyd Ayite.
Floyd Ayite is not on the list. I'm sorry. Now, okay. For you, Mr. Domm, fourth guess.
Oh man, it's hard, isn't it? I'm going to go with Fredericks.
Fredericks is on the
I've
list.
got one as well. Oh, okay.
He got a straight red in the 68th minute for a dangerous tackle against Birmingham when we lost 1-0 to them in February 2017. February 2017, my gosh. Okay, and you, Mr. Baldwin, final guess, mate.
Ross McCormack.
Ross McCormack is not on the list. I am very sorry, sir. I am sorry. 1 point for you out of that round. And last guess for you, Mr. Domm.
I think AK.
AK? Calling AK? AK is on the list. He was the third last player to be sent off. He got a straight red for retaliating in the 63rd minute against Bristol, where we lost 2-0 in October 2017. So there you have it. So out of that round, Mr. Domm gets 4 out of 5, and Mr. Rhys gets only 1 out of 5. If you want to know, actually, the other players that got sent off, the last 10 players, were Thomas Callas in August 2017 in a 1-1 draw versus Reading. Chris Martin. Chris Martin against Norwich, where we beat them 3-1 in April 2017. Yep, the straight red in the elbow. And Michael Maddell in the 44th minute in September 2016 against Birmingham City, where we lost. And Richard Stearman in February 2016, where we lost against Middlesbrough in the 86th minute. He got a straight red. And this is, I missed this guy, I don't know why. James Husband, where we lost 2-5 to Birmingham in November 2015. It was Kit Simon's last game in charge. Awesome.
The glory days.
The glory days. All right, that's excellent.
Oh, how did I miss the Callas one?
5, 6, 7, yeah.
I've been making jokes at Reading fans for that for years.
Yeah.
How they played 100 minutes against 10 men and could only get a 1-1 draw.
All right, we're on to the final round. The current score is Dom is on 7 and Mr. Rhys is on 4. Now, it's your favourite round, Rhys. It's guess the player. So I'm going to name facts about this player, 10 facts, in fact. And if you get from fact 1 to 3, the first fact to the third fact, you get 4 points. So, Rhys, you need to...
I've got to nail this.
You need to bet big, mate. You need to bet big. And so on and so forth with the other scores. I'll let you know. All right, so I'm going to list out these facts very slowly, and you guys just jump in when you feel like it, at your own peril. All right, fact number 1. This player is 6 foot tall. He is currently 39 years old and retired from football.
Basketball Kirai.
Say that again.
39.
Kirai.
I'm going to freeze you out there, mate, and I'll let you know in a minute. Okay, so you're going for...
56.
It was the only old player I could think of.
You're frozen there at number 2, so you could get 4 points there, mate, if it's correct. Okay, and Mr. Domm, I'm going to keep listing them until you think you know. He scored 8 goals in 136 appearances.
Well, it's not Kirai.
He was with Fulham from January 2004 to June 2008. He signed for Fulham on a free from a different continent. He has 110 caps for his country. He has won the MLS Defender of the Year twice. He is currently technical director and vice president of the MLS with Atlanta United in Georgia.
I think I got it.
Go on.
So stop there, just for fun.
Stopping at 8, go on.
Bocanegra.
That's exactly right, mate. Well done. Well done. Bocanegra indeed. Carlos Bocanegra. You got the 8 fat there, so you get an extra 2 points there. So it is 9-4. That is the final score. Well done, Matt. Well done. Sorry about that, Mr. Rhys.
I gambled and lost.
You gambled and lost, but never mind. Never mind.
I gave you a high the other week, and I'm happy with that.
Exactly. And also the final 2 facts were he is a left-footed centre-back or left-back, and the 10th final fact was he was born in California, USA. Excellent. Well done, mate. And Mr. Domm, well done. So for your prize, we are giving you a very nice Craig Klein sumo suit, which you can wear at work tomorrow morning. How do you feel about that, sir?
Has it been washed?
No.
Delighted?
Well, of course you should be. You bloody should be. And I really, really think we all could learn a lot from that way of working. All right, and after this, we're going to have a little bit of a Saints preview.
Fulham.
And welcome back. So we're going to preview Saints now, which is the game on Saturday at 3 p.m. Now, the return of Mark Hughes. Now, I'm just going to give a bit of trivia here about Mark Hughes. I don't want to be too nasty, which I'm not going to be. But Mark Hughes is a sort of tricky subject for a lot of Fulham fans, especially after a certain comment that he's renowned for with his lack of ambition that we have. And I'd just like to pick out some facts for you, pointed out by Danny Boy here. So, since he said we lack ambition for him in his statement, I'd just like to point out 7.5 years on, he hasn't finished higher the table than 8th when he managed us. He hasn't won anything. He was sacked by QPR after picking up 4 points from 12 games. QPR were relegated. He had 5 years with Stoke when the highest finish was 9th, and he was eventually sacked weeks before Stoke were also relegated. He's now at Southampton, and not in that much of a better position than us as we build to a massive relegation clash at the Cottage on Saturday. Likelihood being Fulham win will probably get him the sack, and I can imagine a lot of people hoping for that. So there's your ambition, mate. There's your ambition. So let's go to you, Mr. Rhys. What are you thinking about this game on Saturday? What do you think? Let's finally talk about the lineup and what we think we could actually see on the pitch.
I don't know if I should dignify that with a response. I hold Mark Hughes in very high regard. He was the man who made me fall in love with Welsh football after we beat Italy in 2002. So I very much distance myself from those remarks about Mark Hughes and any comments that he made about, I still maintain he was right. Other than that, moving on to Southampton preview, I think you made the point. I think this is going to be a very cagey game because they are going to know, and Mark Hughes is going to know that if he loses, that he is going to get the sack. So I could see them being very cautious and maybe playing for a draw, which will sort of buy him some time because he'll be able to use the line of, oh, it's a new manager bounce. These guys are a good side. They just need the thing. And I managed to keep them to a draw. I'm obviously doing something right. So I think they're going to play for a draw. So it's going to be up to us to sort of bring out more of an attacking emphasis, which if you heard what Claudio Ranieri is going to do and sort of focus on the defense a bit, that's not really going to work out. So it's going to be a cagey game. It's not going to be a very high scoring one, but whoever does get the first goal is going to be crucial because if they get the first goal, our heads are going to drop because it's going to be a case of, right, we still haven't worked out this defense. Whatever lineup we go for, and if we get the first goal, then the whole college is going to be bouncing because now, finally, we might have worked this whole thing out. So the first goal on Saturday is going to be very, very crucial.
All right, excellent. So, and Dom, another 6-pointer. Is this the 4th time lucky, do you think? I mean, they're in poor form. How do we fare against them, do you think?
Well, I just want to say I very much stand by your comments about Mark Hughes from earlier.
Thank you.
It's just a shame he didn't manage to get 2 teams relegated in one season because Southampton survived. So that's the only downside to that. Sorry, what was the question?
I was just basically just asking, another 6-pointer that we've got, and hopefully it's the 4th time lucky. I mean, do you agree that the first goal is going to decide this, or is there more to it that meets the eye?
It's tricky because our target has to be don't concede. If we don't, I can't see them keeping us out because then they're equally not as good at the back. They're quite porous like we are. So I think we'll score. I think we'll concede as well, but maybe only one this time. It's tough. It's tough because we don't really know what to expect. We don't know how Claudio is going to see this team. We don't know how he's going to line us up. And as you say, it's a crunch game for Mark Hughes, and you have to think if they lose that he'll be gone. So let's make it happen. Desperate to make that happen. And I don't really know what to say. I just think we need to squeak out a win any way we can.
Oh, so you're saying the results, the result is the only thing that matters. It's not the performance. Is that what you're trying to incline there, Mr. Dodd?
If you heard me earlier, you might have heard me say, at this moment in time, we just need to pick up points.
Okay, good. I'm just making sure.
I believe that performances come before points, if that's what you're asking me. I think you can get lucky wins, but if you're performing well consistently, then you'll pick up more points than if you're getting lucky. So no, not entirely. But at this point in time, we've got 5 points at the bottom of the league. We just need a result out of anywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've noticed, Mitrovic is still scoring goals, guys, for Serbia. And I'd be very interested to know the sort of form, because Serbia don't play the sort of way that Slav did, and yet Mitro scores bags of goals for them. I mean, there could be a good sign of life for Mitro under Ranieri. I mean, he just needs a big old cuddle, doesn't he? He just needs a bit of positivity. He doesn't necessarily need a Serbian counterpart, does he?
No, I think there was a lot sort of made over this whole when, if and when we lost Slav, that everyone was saying, "Oh, that'd be Mitrovic gone at the same time." Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But if I'm being brutally honest, as much as I love Alexander Mitrovic, if we have to we talked about players that could come and go in January. If we have to sacrifice Alexander,
Don't
Mitrovic,
say it.
If we have to sell him, and we get in a centre forward or someone that's more likely to Ranieri's taste, and we stay up, then it's a sacrifice we have to be willing to make. So it doesn't all that revolve around Alexander Mitrovic. We need to find something that works for the team here. And if we have to sacrifice Mitrovic, then so be it.
Sorry, can I just add something?
Please.
Is that how you see Ross McCormack, Mr. Baldwin?
Yeah. Well, Ross McCormack was a very fine striker. He was just let down by a very poor defence. If we'd have sorted out the defence, if we'd have brought in Callas and Ream a year earlier when we had McCormack and Dembele up front, we'd have made the playoffs. We just didn't have a very good defence that year. And I stand by that.
So why can't we bring in some defenders then and keep Mitrovic?
Again, I'm saying I'd love to keep Mitrovic. I'm just saying that if we have to, I'm not totally against the idea. We want to stay up, and that by any means necessary. If we have to, I'd sell Bettinelli down the river. As much as I love him, I'd sell Bettinelli if it got us some fun, so we can get a decent right back.
Our second or third best keeper.
Again,
you'd be happy to sell our second or third best keeper?
Yes, absolutely. I'd sell the whole lot. I just want to stay up. That's a tad fine session. I take that back. But you get my point.
On Mitrovic, we're not going to get a better striker than that as a bottom of the league team. So I disagree entirely that we need to get rid of him to improve the team as a unit, because we just need to play to his strengths, which is give him the ball, in the box, and he'll score.
I mean, let's talk about Mitrovic for one final thing. This is not actually just for Saints. This is for future games. Mitrovic is one yellow card away from being banned a game. Now, Rhys, what would you say to Mitrovic here? I mean, Bob, you can't say, don't get a yellow card because that's obvious. That goes without saying. But if there was a game where Mitrovic had to get a yellow card, which game would you think is probably the best?
I personally, I'd say he needs to get a yellow card this game, because we've got Chelsea coming up next on, I think we're playing on Sunday. So I'd say in that kind of game where we're playing counter-attack and we'll need pace up front, I'd say wipe the slate clean after the come back with a blank slate after the Chelsea game, so we can get Schürrle up front playing as a false nine or whatever. Leading the line somewhat, or Vieto, or anyone else, even Kamara to an extent, because he's got some pace. So I think if you want to start afresh, take a yellow, just to give him a little kick somewhere, even if you have to kick Mark Hughes, which will send the whole cottage delightful. Just give him a kick, just get a yellow card, sit out the Chelsea game, then come back fresh for it's Leicester City after that, and that's going to be a very interesting game. I don't want to look too far ahead, but that's the way I would sort of go about. That's the way I'd sort of go about it.
No, I think I completely agree with you, Matt. Do you see any players that would raise our eyebrows a bit for the lineup on Saturday? Do you think, for instance, we might see Adoy at right back instead of centre back, or just not at all? Do you think there might be some surprises in store for us?
Yeah, possibly. I would be surprised if Ranieri saw Dennis Adoy as a centre back. It's the height issue, isn't it? I'm not being heightist against anyone, but he is a centre back, and he's got a leap on him, but he doesn't really fit Claudio Ranieri's preferred style of centre back. I wouldn't be surprised not to see Adoy in the team, and I also wouldn't be surprised to see a lot more of Steph Johansson, just simply based on Ranieri's comments where he says he's going to pick the battlers, he's going to pick the players who are going to run for 90 plus minutes, and that is his Pirates, exactly. And that's Johansson, isn't it? If you ever is a swashbuckling type midfielder, Steph Johansson's your man. And he could be a big player for Claudio.
Yes, Pirates of the Shithouse, exactly. What do you think, Mr. Bourne? Do you think we're going to see a lot more of Johansson now?
I think there's a place for him, similar to how we used Karaguna sparingly during his later because he had no legs. But I can absolutely see him getting that role. Is once we've got the result that we so desired, be it a draw, away at a big club somewhere, or if we're 1-0 or 2-1 up at home, trying to protect the lead, I can absolutely see Stefan Johansson being brought on at the sort of 75-minute mark, just running around and kicking people, trying to be tactical fouling, so to speak. Absolutely, to sort of slow the game down and wind the game down. Absolutely, yeah. I don't see him as a starter, but absolutely as an off the bench option.
All right, excellent. And my final question about the Saints preview actually is I'll go to you with this, Mr. Domm, is that apparently Mr. Bertrand is not available. Do you think we might see the ghost of promotions past with Target coming back to haunt us a bit this Saturday?
Oh, I hope not. It's difficult because we don't know really who Claudio is going to pick on the right. If it's someone who gets up the pitch, gets in behind, then he might cause Target problems, because I think Matt Target's weakness was defending behind him. He wasn't that happy with either angled balls coming across him or passing behind. That was sort of the weakness to his game. He was very good going forward. So if Claudio picks someone who's got pace on the right and can get in behind, then he's hardly unstoppable. And nor is Ryan Bertrand really. I don't think he's pulling up any trees there anymore. I think they were possibly looking to get rid of him over the summer and they didn't.
That's right.
But I wouldn't be too concerned about Matt Target coming back. He'll get a good reception, but he's not a world class player by any. Start that again.
Yeah.
He's not a world class player in anyone's kind of imagination yet. I wouldn't have thought.
Yeah, fair enough. So, Mr. Rhys, let's get a score prediction from you, mate. Are we smelling a clean sheet? Is it Happy Meals Ahoy? What do you think?
No, I can't see a clean sheet, because I think there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. I don't think it'll be completed quite yet.
Sure.
I go back to what I said about the first goal being crucial. I can see us with the new manager bounce. I think it'll be a 2-1 victory to us. We'll go 2-0 ahead, and then on the 80th minute or something, Charlie Austin's going to get a header, and then it's going to be a nervy last 10 minutes sort of thing. I'm going for a 2-1 Fulham win.
Love it. I'll take that any day. I'll bite your hand off for that right now. And for you, Mr. Domm, what was your score prediction for this one, mate?
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with 2-1. I think we concede early. Everyone thinks, here we go again. But, the Pirates get rallied. The cutlasses come out. And I've run out of puns, but we go on and win 2-1.
Excellent, mate. Well played. And finally, guys, any fantasy football tips that you can think of at all? I'm going to go for Samir Nasri if he signs in time for West Ham, because I feel he's going to just score against City this weekend. So I'd go with Samir Nasri if he's on the system by that time. Anyone else? Mr. Baldwin, do you have any fantasy predictions? Do you have any fantasy tips, sir?
Yeah, I'm not going to go for a Welshman this side. I'm going to go for Gylfi Sigurdsson for Everton as they play Cardiff City. I could see them get Cardiff committing a few fouls in and around the box. He'll get plenty of chances for free kicks, and also will be a threat from corners as well, delivering them, so getting assist points.
All right, perfect. And for you, Mr. Domm?
Yeah, I'm going to go for an optimistic Fulham pick this week.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Andre Schürrle, simply because he's going to bag us the winner. And, that's as far, as much a fact as it can be without it actually have happened.
Well, we'll talk about that if it happens, mate, on the next pod. That would be wonderful. All right, that's fantastic, mate. All right, okay. Guys, thank you so much. All right, so thank you to my co-hosts and for all of you listening at home. If you got a nice 23 out of 23 points in the quiz, please tweet us or do whatever, and we'll shower you in praise online or any sort of social media. Rate us on iTunes, tell your mates about us, and make sure you check out Danny Boy's audio interview with David Hamilton if you haven't done so already. You can download it from your podcast provider or just visit www.fulhamfocus.com. Next week's show shall be up on Tuesday, where we shall see just how shivered our timbers were, and of course a preview of our game against our friendly decent neighbours, Chelsea. God love them. Right, thank you very much. So that is goodbye from me. That is goodbye from Mr. Rhys.
Good night. Take care.
And good night from Mr. Domm.
Goodbye, sir.
Bye, sir. Thank you all very much. See you soon.